This app was meant to protect women's dating lives, and it winded up exposing their private lives to the entire internet. At first, it looked like women were just sharing their experiences, looking out for each other. But then the posts got messier and the screenshots started leaking, and what was a private space turned into a public battlefield, with men and women around the world tearing each other apart. In this video, we're not choosing sides. We're unpacking how a private app turned into public chaos, how women took it too far and men retaliated in the most disturbing and illegal way possible, and then how the whole thing spiraled into a global gender war. I hope y'all have a snack, a blanket, and child, maybe even a Bible, because this gets messy fast. Welcome to the Girl Talk you didn't know you needed. Now, I'm not saying you have to subscribe. You're classy. I know you don't just give those away for free, but hopefully at the end of this video, we become bestie enough for you to take that next step. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like this video because it shows YouTube that you like this video. All right, let's get into it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if you've never heard of the T app, you've probably been living under a rock. And I mean like full on Patrick Star style under a rock. Because where have you been? But no, seriously, it's probably a good thing if you've never heard of that app because it got real toxic real fast. The app T was quietly launched in 2023. It was invite only and strictly for women. It was branded as a dating safety network where women could anonymously post the men that they've dated and dealt with and share their experiences, whether he ghosted, cheated, lied, or even if his breath stank.
One thing that really stood out to me is the amount of men that's being posted. I'm seeing comments like the breath is horrible, the breath gets down. Why is the dentist not being utilized? I'm just so confused.
Think of it like a Yelp review for that restaurant that you wanted to check down the street, but instead it was a review for men's behavior. And a lot of women also went on this app to check and see if their man was dealing with another woman. Kind of like those "Are We Dating the Same Man" Facebook groups. You could go on the T app and not only get the tea, but get a full background check on your sneaky link. Now, let's get this straight though, because a lot of people assume that this app was created strictly to be messy. But I'm gonna tell you that's not the case. This entire app was built on privacy. It had a strict no screenshot rule. Keep that in mind. You couldn't screenshot, you had to use your ID, like actual government issued ID, to get approved on the app. And in theory, it all made sense, especially when you touch on the fact that a lot of these women that use the app were exposing men for being abusive or dangerous.
To you, I think that the T app is pointless. Let me tell you something. All that whole, oh, women are just bitter and they're just saying anything, and the bitter be, you cheated on her sister, you probably beat her up, maybe slapped her a couple times, or you committed SA. Are you dead right now?
So the whole concept of this app was to intentionally protect women. But here's where it got messy. Because while there were women that followed the rules, shared real experiences, and used the app how it was intended to be used, there were also a lot of women that saw this as their opportunity. Their opportunity to be petty. Their opportunity to drag a man's name with no repercussions.
Honestly, believe half of what you see on there. Spare these men just a little bit. I believe there's a lot of salty women on there just talking about these men because they don't want other girls to like them.
And by July 2025, things kind of started to spiral. The app had been around for a while, but it wasn't until now that it completely blew up. When I tell y'all, this app went viral, and for all the wrong reasons. I'm talking about people finding their boyfriends on the app, women exposing cheating husbands, and even women finding out that they were dating the same man.
Everything was all fun and games until I seen my little shit on that T app. Y'all can keep that. And then mind you, I'm not the one that posted about my little shit. So who's more worried about my little shit than I am?
Honestly though, the scariest part isn't just what people were posting. It was how easy it was to tie real people to these posts. I'm talking full names, clear photos, full addresses. And I'm not saying that the men who did these women dirty did not deserve to be held accountable. Let's get that straight. But to be doxxed, that's where we may have to draw the line, ladies. It made me wonder just how easy it was to actually find somebody's personal information online. So, like the messy wife that I am, hey babe, so I'm not looking you up on the T app, so don't worry, we're not doing that. But I am gonna look up your full government name and see what we find. Okay, hold on. Your phone number is right?
Yeah.
And this is literally our address. Bro, that's literally our address.
How are you getting this information? Like, did it leak or something?
No, you can pretty much Google anyone or anything and find personal information just like this.
How?
Because these sites are run by data brokers. They collect your personal information, they package it up, and they can sell it to anyone they want to.
I didn't even know they could do that.
That's creepy. It's actually terrifying how little control we have over where our personal information winds up. If you're anything like me, you use Google every single day. They're collecting our data, but we can't really do anything about it because we depend on it. That's why I use Aura, who is sponsoring this video. Aura finds out which data brokers are exposing your information. They also monitor the dark web and send alerts if your information has been exposed. So go to aura.com/Janae Danielle to try it free for 14 days. And that's more than enough time for Aura to find out which data brokers are selling your information and start getting you out of those systems. Now that we've seen how easy it is to find one person's information online, imagine giving millions of people an app that basically gave them the tools to do the same thing. So let me tune y'all in on the gravity of all of this. Okay, so the T app started going viral, but it wasn't like some basic, maybe over here in America viral. It was more of like a worldwide viral.
I am also now counting down the days for the T app to be released in Canada. Oh!
This app was #1 on the App Store, had over 4 million users, all in a matter of weeks. And if you wanted to get into the app, you had to be put on a wait list. Again! You basically had to be put on a wait list to be messy and nosy, because at this point we know 4 million women aren't trying to see if they're all dating the same man. So now we have millions of women tripping and running hurdles trying to get into this app. They were downloading it out of pure curiosity, but also, like we said, they were being nosy, treating it like a gossip club, swiping through it like it was a T page. And the more people talked about it, the more drama that went viral on TikTok, the more women joined the app with nothing to contribute. Well, they did contribute in some way, but not the way that you think. They didn't contribute by maybe posting a man that cheated on them or exposing a man for giving them something, because yes, that was a very real and important part of the app too.
I just seen a video about the T app where these women were talking about this one dude who was spreading around HIV, and they said he infected at least 35 women, some of them knowing, some of them not knowing.
No, they did their big one by screenshotting everything. Y'all remember that no screenshot rule we spoke about earlier? Y'all also remember how we discussed that a lot of women would responsibly go on this app to post their abusers to help other women. Well, here's where it started going left very fast. Women started screenshotting these posts, but they weren't just screenshotting the messy and petty posts. They were definitely screenshotting them, but those weren't the only ones. No, they were leaking the post about dangerous men. Okay, it sounds like a good idea at first, until you realize that the women that posted about him are being caught in the crossfire.
Let me put this in stupid terms for y'all. The ones that are f***ing up the T app and letting the men know that they're actually on the T app. The moment that you read out loud or you get that stinky iPad and you record what people are saying when it's supposed to be anonymous, they're gonna put two and two together. They're gonna know, oh my gosh, I went through this with XYZ, with Brittany or whoever the and guess what? I'm gonna reach out to Brittany and I'm either gonna put her in harm's way or I'm gonna send out that cease and desist letter.
Some of these stories were very serious. They were about men who were violent, controlling, and even abusive. And when you take that kind of post and just throw it on TikTok, you're not just warning other women, you're alerting him.
To the women, make sure that you're not putting the whole entire story of what happened to you. Just say he is an abuser, he assaulted me, he commits DV. Do not give no well written out story of what happened, because these women are telling. These women are telling their homeboys, they're telling their friends, they're telling their brothers, they're telling niggas that they want to with that ain't giving them the time of day, that they want to get like, you know, in good cahoots with in order to snitch on you. And guess what? They're going to put two and two together. They're going to make them read the story out loud and say, hey, I remember this was so-and-so. Now I'm putting her in danger.
So if he comes across that post, he's most likely going to know who posted it. And there's a chance that he's going to go after her.
I just found out who put me on that app. Why you lying? You did not, I never touched you on my dead brother. All that T out. I just found out who put me on the T app. You poor as hell. I'll never touch you.
She's no longer anonymous. Even worse, she's in danger. So that's where this whole thing stopped being helpful and started being dangerous.
Five women have been recently unalived for using the T app to expose men for cheating, wrongdoing, and abuse. It's just crazy out here. Make sure that you are, not posting anybody that you know is violent and just staying safe, because you never know what could happen to you. Based on this article, these women were sent a Lipton tea box with their name on it and threatened that, something was going to happen to them.
What was supposed to be a safe space for women turned into flat out entertainment. And people weren't reading these posts to protect themselves. They were reading these posts to laugh, repost, comment, share.
Child, this T app is getting out of control. And I'm nosy, so I wanted to know what the hell it was. So I started sharing to my homegirls and everything.
And the second the privacy left, so did the validation of those posts. Because once screenshots started hitting the timeline, y'all, the app was so viral, you couldn't really tell what was real and what was just straight BS. Especially when women were posting men on the app because they gave them gay vibes.
My nigga, how the f did I get on the T app? I used to work with him. He gave me gay vibes. What? I only worked one job with females, bro. And I was at Olive Garden when I was a server. And the reason why I didn't with none of y'all is because y'all was already all the on the job.
Do y'all see how this app spiraled? Don't get me wrong, the app definitely did have posts of men that were definitely red flags. So if a man was lying, cheating, being reckless, down low, y'all, the list goes on. A lot of women called that karma. But what about the men who were safe?
They used to have my TikTok and everything, but I'm good for nothing but dancing. I bet.
Since the app didn't let men respond or defend themselves, there was no context, there was no second slide. It was just 2 red flags and a "his teeth are yellow" comment.
Mother, you texting me talking about some, I see you on the T app, you across the T app. What the f the T app? And then y'all so messy because how the f my business all on the app and I can't go on there and see it because I'm a boy. So I can't go on this app just because I'm a boy to see what the a group of bitches talking about me for? Like, y'all gotta stop playing, bro. This getting out of hand.
If we really wanted to get technical, what is a red flag nowadays? Because you have some women stating that a man breathing weird is a red flag. Y'all remember when that ick era was popular and women were getting the ick from their boyfriends or people who they were talking to for random reasons? I literally seen a post of a girl that got the ick because her man was treading water. God forbid a man knows how to swim. But serious posts on the T app started getting buried by the foolishness. Let's be real. If you're scrolling on the T app and you come across a post that says, "He held me at gunpoint," and then the next post, it's, "He's a red flag because he chews too loud," what are we supposed to get from that? What are we supposed to... No woman is going to be taking this app seriously, and eventually no woman did.
So I downloaded the T page. Don't get me wrong, I'm single, but I was just being nosy trying to see who was on here. But one thing I noticed, y'all ain't got no morals. A girl will post a dude and he look halfway decent. All y'all in the comments asking for his IG, talk about, "Oh, I'm trying to crack necks. I'm trying to crack neck." What? Y'all might want to think twice before posting y'all up on that T page to try to clock anything, because if anything, them scrolling and shopping for. So if them comments start saying, "Oh, his is good," baby, they're gonna start getting out. They're gonna start following your name.
As we could all see, this app wasn't about safety anymore. It started to be used for gossip, revenge, maybe getting even. And yes, a lot of women were using this app to get even with the man that did them dirty, but the men's retaliation was even dirtier. Okay, so we're gonna lock in for a second because most of my viewers are female. So ladies, I want us to really step back out of our shoes and maybe imagine ourselves in a man's. And no, not the creepy men who actually deserve to be on this app. I'm talking about An innocent man who maybe went on a few dates with a woman, it didn't work out, and now you're watching yourself being rated like a Yelp review by complete strangers, and they are dragging you by your character, by your looks. Your face is being reposted on all social media platforms, and you can't delete it, you can't defend yourself, and the whole internet is speaking down on your character. Let's just be real for a second. Wouldn't you snap?
Man, they got me on the T app. Dean went back and forth since March. Things have been going well, blah, blah, blah. He just pretty secretive with his phone, but I just want to know the T. You should have asked me. I would have just told you myself.
Now listen, I've said this countless times. I know there are a lot of men that deserve to be on this app, especially the dangerous ones. But once women started taking advantage of this app and realized that they could go viral off of a few laughs and maybe an insane story, and once men felt called out, accused, and offended.
And for the who gave me a red flag on that T-app, that's why your mama's a hoe and your knees build backwards and your breasts smell like Rockwaller bark. That's why your braids underneath that weave don't reach your neck, you fat back.
Things flipped and it eventually turned into the gender war we all seen coming. Men started to feel powerless once they realized they were being rated, dragged, and talked about online. So what did they do? Well, first, they started trying to break into the app.
So y'all females must forgot that got homegirls, you feel me? So me and my homegirl chatting it up, and I brought up the T-app. And she's like, oh, you wondering if you on there? And I'm like, let's go see!
Full-on Mission Impossible type stuff. There were men putting on wigs, using their female family members and friends to help them break into the app.
All right, fellas, I'm in. I broke the barrier. I had to put on a wig and all type of shit. I'm in. Y'all hit me up, let me know if y'all want to put y'all name in this goddamn search. I'll search y'all up, man.
But that wasn't enough for them. It was never enough. Once they got on the app, imagine all the devious thoughts running through their head once they were scrolling and then they happened to come across a post of themselves with 10 red flags. So eventually, they created a T-app to expose the women.
When the guys come out with a T-app equivalent, because you know they will, that gonna get wicked. And I don't want to hear anybody say that anybody is wrong.
And at first, no one took it seriously. And it was almost like a joke, especially once you heard the names of this app, like Spill the Beer and Matcha. Like, okay, you might have ate that one little thing, but we didn't take it serious. These men were just making their own version of what the women did, and there was really nothing criminal about that.
Boys, we did it. We came up with a T-app competitor, and it is called Box Score. Probably the most disrespectful name we could have come up with for this app, but I'm very curious to see how the internet reacts to this, how men react to this.
Now, the moment it became criminal was once criminal activity was actually involved. Not only did these men expose women's behavior on this app, they exposed women's bodies. I'm talking about revenge, porn, women's intimate photos and videos, and it got real dark real fast.
2 male T-apps dropped last week, and both got taken down by the App Store. Take a guess why. They were showing videos of y'all getting cracked. The keeping men safe rhetoric wasn't there. Comments of, oh, she robbed me. She put her hands on me. No, none of that was there. It was, oh, she gave it on the first date. She let me hit on the first link. Then they dropping y'all social medias. Because men are asking, what's her at? They're selling y'all off. All because they didn't like the T-app.
Now, these retaliation apps were only up for like 24 hours because what do you mean you're posting explicit videos? But at this point, the damage had already been done. And if you thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. Because in the midst of all the retaliation and the revenge, the original T-app was hit with a massive, and I mean massive, data breach. Remember earlier when we mentioned that you had to use a government-issued ID to get into the app? Government-issued ID to get approved on the app. Yeah, that. How about 13,000 of those IDs, including full names, birthdays, addresses, were leaked online for the whole world to see.
The T-app announcing a massive data breach to their systems last week. Roughly 72,000 images, including 13,000 verification selfies and images of government IDs, have been leaked online. The company adding today some private direct messages were also accessed in the breach, and they have since disabled that function.
A lot of women had to use picture verification. So
someone created an app for the leaks from the T-Spill app, and God, dude, if you swipe through this shit,
you get a glimpse very quickly of why these people are judgmental and they think they have any room to talk about other people. It's like a hierarchy rank system. Holy shit. This one looks like a Skyrim, like create your own character. Basically, it pits two people against each other and you click one or the other and it progresses. Everybody's talking about it online. Got like millions of views on Twitter. There's a leaderboard. I'm not ranking women because I'm married. I'm not thinking about these people, but you know, click through it and you'll see like 99% of these people are unattractive and scary.
People were dragging these women through the mud, not to mention. And this wasn't a problem that could be fixed overnight. Women's real names, birth certificates, passports, any form of ID that they could use to verify themselves on this app, it was exposed and it was held against them.
They leaked the exact location of everybody who was on the T app. Yo! Let me really explain this to you. They looked at your driver's license, got the address off of it, and they posted it on an app that anybody can access. Every woman on that app is cooked.
This time, it wasn't the men that was doing the exposing. It was the same app that women trusted to protect their dating lives that ended up exposing their private lives instead. Now, there are speculations going on right now because a man actually posted a video and said that the T app was gonna get hacked and women were going to rue the day, and then the next day they did.
The T app will soon have a data breach and all the posts that people have made on there will not be anonymous anymore. And all the women who have been lying will be exposed for their lies. The fact of the matter is, data breaches are not uncommon. And the problem with the T app is it is designed to create enemies for itself. Now, what does that mean? By allowing a space for women to safely talk about men, it is inherently putting a target on their back. Because let's be honest, not all the women on that app are 100% honest about the men they talk about. All it takes is one man who just doesn't like the T app community to get access to everyone's information who's on the app.
The irony of all of this is insane because this app was intended to protect women, but in the end, it ended up endangering a lot of them. Now, y'all do know on this channel, we celebrate women's rights, but we side-eye women's wrongs. And I do believe there was a point where we went wrong in all of this. I honestly believe the whole concept of this T app was messy. I mean, let's be for real, the app is called T. Now, we're not gonna ignore the fact that yes, this app was used to protect women from dangerous men. Maybe men carrying diseases and not disclosing it. Men who were abusive, controlling, stalkers. But it backfired on us completely when the nosiness and the pettiness entered the chat. When women stopped logging in for safety and started logging in for T, and then instead of checking to see if he was dangerous, they were checking to see if he was taken. That's when the app shifted. Because what started out as protection for these women ended up as screenshots, drama, and safety concerns. And once the internet realized that we couldn't even protect our own privacy, the internet did what it always does and used women's pain as content. No one deserves to be bullied, doxxed, have explicit photos leaked. No one deserves that. But that app was a ticking time bomb that a lot of us could see from a mile away. The moment it went viral, the moment men started retaliating, the moment it turned into a full-on gender war, a lot of women wanted to be messy instead of dipping, and then got shocked when men started using our own tools against us. This wasn't a win for anybody. It was just a reminder that when we stop moving smart, we give people the ammo to be able to flip it all back on us. Thank you for tuning into the girl talk you didn't know you needed. If you like this video and all the messy drama of women getting exposed by the very app that was supposed to protect them, then you'll love hearing about how women are getting bullied for fixing the same face people told them to hate. Click here to watch that next. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to actually like this video because it shows YouTube that you're rocking with me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever classy people like us do before heading to the next video. Also, comment a purple heart if you made it this far. You're a real one. Bye!